Algae. It only needs water, sunlight, nutrients, and CO2 to grow, and can double its mass in 24 to 48 hours. Growing microalgae in photobioreactors can absorb up to 200 times more CO2 in a year than trees can. Microalgae can produce a biomass that can turn into renewable fuel like biodiesel for vehicles, kerosene for jet fuel, and biogas for electricity. What would be an example of how we could use microalgae to produce efficient and recyclable resources to improve systems dependent on fossil fuels, cut energy bills, and benefit our environment all at the same time? Well, let's use an agricultural system, for example. We could have a greenhouse design that has a built-in photobioreactor that produces CO2 and nutrients to help grow fruit and vegetables more efficiently, at the same time producing biomass that could be used for the food transportation vehicles. Photobioreactors and biomass have a very promising future in the field of renewable fuel and electricity. It is a great example of how we can take a natural organism's evolved method of doing something and upscaling it to help benefit our systems and environment.
Everyone owns one of these, and we all have done this once in our lives. The only problem is, cases that do a great job of protecting our phones usually come at a steep cost, and the ones that are affordable usually don't get the job done. So I thought to myself, how can we change this? How can we make an affordable case that is also very protective with as little material as possible? The answer is beehives. You may be confused, but beehives are actually a great form of shock protection found in nature. When we take these patterns and ideas from nature, it's called biomimicry. Biomimicry, defined, is the design and production of materials, structures, and systems that are modeled on biological entities and processes. This pattern can withstand an awful lot of shock, as it diverts the shock to its multiple points and disperses it. No wonder bees have used this pattern for years. Being suspended from objects makes your home very delicate. The case works like this. A thin, softer rubber undercase is applied to the outside of the phone. This disperses the shock all around the case and keeps the phone safe. The outermost layer of the case provides a more tactile and gripping surface for the user to easily hold onto the phone during their everyday life. Don't be the only one without one. Purchase one today.
Have you ever asked yourself, why can't humans run like other animals? Take the cheetah, for example. They can run at an average of 75 miles per hour, and their acceleration is from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. There's something about the cheetah that we could look at to help us run not faster, but longer. The cheetah can only maintain such a speed for a short time, but it still needs some way to deal with the immense force that it encounters while running at such incredible speed. It has evolved a structure where its pectoral girdle isn't attached to its spinal column, so it acts like a giant shock absorber on the front of the cheetah's body. When we run, all of the force from the ground goes straight up our legs and into our back and hips, which can cause problems with extended running. Well, what if we had something like the cheetah? Imagine a suit that could divert most of the force of running away from your spine and into a structure on your back. This would allow you to run longer and stronger, as you would be less fatigued and less in pain from the force of running.
American high school football. Every year, on average, out of 100 students, one will be seriously hospitalized due to accident or injury. The average jet fighter pilot will experience up to 9 times the force of gravity, while in extreme situations, the average football player will experience 150 times that. On the other hand, a woodpecker will experience up to 1,000 times the force of gravity. Woodpeckers can survive this thanks to their spongy bone, but more importantly, the neck muscles which better distribute this force amongst their body. If we apply this technology to football helmets, we'll be able to constrain the maximum distance heads can travel in collisions.
Evolutionary algorithms optimize by eliminating and mutating in a simulation of evolution. They can be applied to many problems, and are a very interesting method for acquiring data. One example of a situation where an evolutionary algorithm can be applied is the traveling salesman problem. The concept of this problem is a salesman who needs to visit n amount of cities, but wants to find the most efficient route without repeating by going to the same city twice. There are a few methods to figure out an optimal route. One of them is random selection with improvement. This takes 2 routes generated at random. The less efficient route is thrown away, while the more efficient route is compared against a newly generated route. Another possible solution is a systematic selection algorithm with improvement. This means that individual paths between cities will be judged based on their efficiency and switched out with shorter paths. Both of these are examples of evolutionary algorithms, as they kill off worse solutions until the best possible one is achieved. However, some algorithms are still better than others. The systematic selection algorithm is generally a better way to go, as it optimizes each part of the route individually instead of throwing a whole plan at a wall to see if it sticks. It's worth noting that the random selection algorithm could possibly find the most efficient route in a shorter amount of time than systematic selection. However, there is also the chance that it'll take significantly longer, making it a much better practice to opt for systematic selection. A long time ago, a little boy by the name of William Shakespeare decided to get into playwriting, so he employed infinity monkeys with infinity typewriters, knowing that eventually they'd hit those keys and hit the drama jackpot, and he could take all the credit. So are Shakespeare's monkeys an example of an evolutionary algorithm? Well, not exactly. Say one monkey happens to hit the keys to write out the first line of Hamlet. Willy Boy Shakespeare might see it and say, "I like where this is going," and then give the monkey a little pat on the back and a juice box. That monkey probably won't sit down and understand that the line he wrote was good stuff and he should continue it. He might not even reproduce that line ever again. This is an example of a totally random algorithm that lacks the improvement from feedback that the algorithm from the traveling salesman problem had. Even when applied to an evolutionary algorithm, there's no guarantee that the typewriter monkey method will yield any improvements. So, how can this knowledge be applied? I think that the format of an evolutionary algorithm could be applied to the goal of taking the funniest Snapchat. The process for finding this ultimate joke follows a systematic selection format. First, similar snaps are sent out using different face filters. The amount of times each snap is screenshotted acts as feedback, since it's a tangible way of knowing that the viewer thought the snap was funny. Once the funniest face filter is found, the runners-up start mutating, as is common in evolutionary algorithms. First, captions are added to the photos as mutations, then geofilters. If a mutated snap does better than the original winner of the face filter face-off, then that filter starts being mutated. I am very confident that this will bring about great things, and all my friends will finally laugh at my jokes.
Owl lens photography for night owls. Owls do their hunting during the night, which has allowed them to adapt enhanced night vision. So why not adapt our camera lenses to have better night vision like the owl? The owl eye uses the iris to open up the pupil up to a very large state, allowing maximum light into the eye. By increasing the amount of light that can be let through the lenses, you're allowing the camera to have a higher quality of detail in an image. Owl lens allows the user to adjust the amount of light entering the camera, which uses the technique of a pupil and iris. This new lens will have a higher light sensitivity than a normal lens by using photoreceptive technology. This photoreceptive technology includes a series of layers within the lens. These layers act like rod cells in the owl eye, which send the light information to the camera. Owl lens has the highest light sensitivity compared to other leading camera lenses. Explore the night.
We'd like to take a second of your time today to introduce the newest revolutionary technology, a new glove with grabbing capability beyond your imagination, a new ability to be used by humans to outdo lesser-informed humans. To understand the gravity of this new product, we've taken into account that no one wants to lose their grip on things that are important to them, and with this new glove, that won't happen. Specifically created with making sure that your grip on technology, heavy vases, and other important items stay within your grasp, we've made sure that the glove accesses the palm, which is used mostly in the heaviest and most important of lifting. So, while you used to fear dropping the ball, that won't happen anymore. Let's take a closer look at those hands. Squans use a specific technology replicated from our brothers and sisters at sea, squids. Small suckers act as vacuums on the hand to make sure you don't lose your grip on whatever you may be carrying.